Hey friends, it's Buffaque again. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and do one of these EDC videos. I've been thinking about doing one of these for quite a while, and the only reason I hadn't done one yet is basically I didn't really know if anyone would be at all interested in it. Um, but honestly, there are thousands upon thousands of these on YouTube, so I kind of figured, what's one more? Maybe some of you guys will find some part of this interesting. Who knows? Anyway, it's real short and simple, guys. Basically, you could pause this video right here, look at the items I have in front of you, and go, okay, I already know what his EDC is. And you'd pretty much be correct. Basically, what we have here, guys, is I have three different items, three different firearms anyway, that I rotate through, as well as the knives that I usually pair with those firearms. Um, Starting all the way down here on this end, this is my Smith & Wesson model 442 in 38 special. This is one of the firearms that I will carry with me if I really feel like I'm going somewhere and I feel like I would really feel a lot more secure if I had one of my firearms with me. That's usually what I carry with me. It's a revolver. We all know revolvers are very reliable, and with the load, I have it loaded with HydroShock Plus P, and it's a very adequate choice for EDC, for self defense. I feel very assured when I carry this firearm with me that you know, God forbid, should the need arise, I know I'll be adequately taken care of with this firearm. The knife I have here with it is my Spyderco H1. This is the Pacific Salt. Okay, I've already done a video on this knife. Great knife. Knife that I'll carry with me a lot. Again, it's usually paired with this firearm, but not always. Sometimes I will pair it with something else, but this is an excellent knife. All right, moving on down. Next, I have my Celtic P32. This is a first generation. By the way, these are all loaded. I want a little disclaimer now. They're all loaded because everyone is different, but I personally keep all of my firearms loaded all the time. Now, if I'm doing an in-depth review on one of these firearms, and I'm going to be pointing it in various directions, I'll unload it for that. But for this video, these are all loaded. But anyway, this is my Celtic P32. This is a first-generation Celtic. That's part of the cool factor for me, the fact that it is a first generation. You don't see the first-generation ones as often anymore. This is an excellent little firearm. As far as I know, this is the world's lightest 32 caliber firearm, as well as the world's slimmest. And between the slimness of the firearm and the lightweight, it's like 7 ounces or something like that. I mean, it's something ridiculous. But anyway, those two things paired together, this is an excellent carry choice. And often I will pair that with one of my Enduras. I've got several. This is the one in the royal blue, which I think is a really pretty option by Spyderco. So often I'll pair that knife with that firearm. And then moving on down, my newest addition is my Sea Camp. This is the Sea Camp in 25 ACP. And I bought this with this little pocket holster. It came with it kind of as a combo, and this is an excellent little carry choice. I know probably most of you would not even humor carrying a 25 as your primary carry, but for me, I feel totally prepared. With a quality build. Now, this is not a cheap firearm, but with a quality firearm such as this Sea Camp, I feel great. I think this is an excellent choice. With the Sea Camp, because this is the smallest of all three, this is actually the smallest firearm I have in my collection. Usually with this, I will carry one of my smaller blades. Here I have my Benchmade mini grip, okay, with the yellow finish. It's kind of getting washed out a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that is the mini grip in yellow. Another excellent little knife option by Benchmade. Okay, so that's basically it as far as the firearms and the knives. Occasionally I may change one of these out, but generally speaking, if I'm going out for any reason, basically anytime I'm going out, I always have one of these on me. More often than not, it's one of these two. I'll admit, it's pretty rare I carry the Smith & Wesson. I have done it occasionally, but usually it's one of these two. I almost never carry anything larger than a 38 Special. I do have some larger calibers. I have a Springfield 1911 A1. It's the loaded, I believe. Yeah, it's the loaded edition with the Parkerized finish. Great firearm, a beautiful firearm, but you know, I am one of the guys who fell into the thing of I bought it thinking I would carry it more, and sure enough, after carrying it for a couple of months, I went, this is really just too heavy. Now, I'm still glad I own that firearm, and I never plan on selling it, but like I said, more often than not, I'm carrying one of these two, either the 32 or the 25. I also have a Ruger LCP, yes, LCP in 380. Occasionally, I'll swap that out with the Keltec, but more often than not, between all three, it's this one here. I carry that 25 a lot. So anyway, those are the firearms and the knives. The items you see up here across the top are items I always have on me, and I mean always. Generally, I always have a firearm and one of these knives with me as well, but occasionally, you know, we all know how this thing goes. If it is a place, time, or situation where I cannot legally carry one of these firearms, and I say legally, not say a business or establishment would rather me not have it, that I'm not so interested in. But if it's a situation I legally cannot carry it, these items up here are things I always have with me. Okay, here, you know, car keys, you know, very basic, but a couple interesting, well, one particular interesting item I have here that some of you may have never seen before, maybe never thought of this. This is a flash drive. And I have the flash drive because I have a record on this of all of my firearms as well as serial numbers. And it's locked, it's encoded, so if I lost it in a parking lot and someone picked it up, the average person, now I can't speak for these hacking gurus, but the average person would not be able to unlock that USB. I can because I encrypted it that way. I have a password for it. But on this flash drive, I have photos of all of my firearms as well as all of my knives, and serial numbers. I have that for insurance purposes. I always have my car keys with me. We all do. We all always have our keys with us. And I thought this is a good idea, something to have on you in case, God forbid, if you ever had a house fire or a burglary or anything like that, you want to have a reference of as much of your property as you can. So what I did was I put the serial numbers and the photos on this flash drive, as well as I basically went around my home and used my iPhone, which is what I'm using to record this video, but I went around my house with the iPhone and basically just videoed everything. Not in super great depth, but basically just walked around the house with the video on, capturing most of everything on video, and that's also on this flash drive. Again, that's for insurance purposes, and if you were to lose your home, you know, or something like that to a fire or natural disaster, or if someone were to break in, you know, in times of stress and things like that, it can be hard to remember. It's hard to collect your thoughts. It's hard to go, okay, I had this, and they all appear to be gone or destroyed. Whereas if you have something like this, you can clearly look back and go, oh, okay, there it is. Yes, I clearly remember this being in this place, and so on. And this is nice because you can open this virtually anywhere that has a computer, okay? So that's something kind of neat. I didn't come up with that. I saw a guy do it, and I thought that's a pretty good idea. That's something that I think a lot of you may be interested in. You don't see it done a whole lot in these EDC videos. I think I've seen maybe one or two guys do it, but get a collection, get a reference of all of your firearms, all of your serial numbers, all of those things. Put it on a flash drive. Add your flash drive to your keychain, guys, because you'll have a reference of everything you own, no matter where you go. And I think that's a handy thing to have. Anyway, also on the keychain here, got a bottle opener because who doesn't love a nice cold one. Little Victorinox Classic in the translucent green. I'm not a flashlight guy. I tried for a long time to convince myself to carry some kind of a little flashlight. Yes, I have the, the Micro Stream, I forget what model it is. It's about the size of a AA battery. It's a great flashlight. I rarely carry one. I just don't honestly feel like it's something I really need to carry on me. But I do always have this little, it's I think the Nano, yeah, it's the it's the Streamlight Nano, okay? And, you know, it puts off enough light that if you're in a totally dark area, you know, it's better than nothing. And it doesn't have you relying on the little light on your cell phone. Okay, so other than that, that's basically it for the car keys. Of course, wallet, all the basic stuff in there, credit cards, driver's license, gun permit, you know, insurance, all that stuff. And down here, 2 more items I always have. I always have my Victorinox Cadet. Even if I'm carrying any of these options, I always have this Cadet with me as well. I usually do carry 2 knives, and really 3 if you include the little classic on my keychain there. And then the last item is I carry a Zippo Slim. Okay, and maybe it'll light. There we are. And just because I like cigars, I smoke cigars occasionally, and I usually like to have a nice quality lighter with me. And plus, you never know when you may need to have access to a quick flame, you know, for whatever reason. So anyway, there it is, guys. Pretty simple. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know specifically if any of you guys, this is kind of the one reason I decided to go ahead and do this video, was for the little flash drive. Let me know what you guys think. You think it's a good idea? You think it's a bad idea? Have you ever heard of this being done before? Is this something you've thought of yourself? Let me know kind of what you think about it. I know my biggest thing was I was concerned, well, if I were to lose my keys or if this were to fall off, I really don't want just anyone to have reference of all of my things, and that's why it's encoded. Now, I'm sure there's probably some way to eventually get around that, but I think the risk is worth the gain in this instance, because we just never know when you know, we may suffer a loss, and you know, having quick reference to things as important as your firearm serial numbers, as well as photos, you know, I think is a good thing to have. So let me know what you think, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time.